Hello, everyone. Welcome to today's webinar. Hi, Maureen, Tony, Vincent. Hey, how you doing today? Hi there, David. Hi, Karen. Hey, Kathy. Diana's going to start here in just a couple of minutes. Just waiting for everybody to get on. Hey, Pam. Yeah, if you have an issue there, just reconnect yourself. Hey, Marty. Diana's going to be on with us in just a sec. Yeah, David, we're just waiting on Diana. She's getting herself together here. Yes, Maureen, Diana will be with us in just a moment.
Good morning, everybody. It's a pleasure to have you here today. Well, this is a large class. This is the largest class for a lunch webinar we've ever had. That's wonderful. I appreciate you coming here today. And the first thing I want to do, it is the updates from the MLS. But before we get there, I want to, and I really hope that this comes through. I want to play a video from Windows to the Law on coming soon and best practices that is available through nar.realtor. I am going to share my screen with you right now so that we can hopefully are able to take a look at it. Okay, let me just make this a large screen. And I am going to make the volume really high.
Hey, Diana, you have to put the video into the program. We can't hear sound through the video when you share your screen.
Oh, you can't?
No.
All right, so, okay, give me 1 second. I'm gonna put the link. 1 second.
If you put it in the chat box, we can all see it.
Yes, I'm getting there.
You have to stop sharing your screen so you can get into the chat box there.
Okay.
There we go.
Yeah, that's why it wasn't working for me. Okay.
Did you want to play that video now for everyone?
Yes.
Okay.
So since it's in the chat, how do I do that to play it?
I got you. I got you. Here, we're going to play it right now.
All right, take care of it.
Hi everyone. Today we're discussing coming soon listings, the differences between legitimate and improper coming soon listings, and best practice tips for how you can use coming soon in your business. A coming soon listing is a listed or unlisted property that is not available for showing or sale until a later date. Coming soon can be a legitimate advertising technique. They allow the owners more time to complete repairs, pack, or otherwise ready the property for showing or sale. A legitimate coming soon complies with state law, MLS rules, and NAR's Code of Ethics. On the other hand, improper coming soon listings violate state law, MLS rules, and NAR's Code of Ethics because they are used to circumvent the MLS, to market the property to a select group of people, or to ensure a buyer uses the listing broker for the transaction. It's possible for coming soon listings to violate state licensing laws and NAR's Code of Ethics in a number of ways. For example, state law and the code both require real estate professionals to act in the best interest of their clients, but improper coming soon listings serve the listing broker's interest ahead of the client's interest. State law and the code also both require truth in advertising, while improper coming soon listings are misleading and inaccurate. Improper coming soon listings could also violate your MLSs rules. MLSs facilitate real estate transactions as a consolidated source of accurate property information and as a private offer of cooperation and compensation. They function at their best when information is complete. Improper coming soon listings compromise that accuracy and undermine cooperation amongst real estate professionals. That's why many MLSs have strict rules to ensure proper use of coming soon. As coming soon listings gain popularity, real estate commissions are taking notice and offering guidance on how to use them without breaking state law. Most recently, the Idaho Real Estate Commission issued Guidance Number 8. The document recognizes that some coming soon listings are legitimate, while others are nefarious, and the determination is fact-specific. The Idaho Real Estate Commission emphasizes that marketing a property to only a limited pool of potential buyers for the purpose of, for example, pocketing more of the sales commission violates state law because the professional is not acting in the client's best interest. The Nebraska Real Estate Commission's Guidance Document Number 40 lists 4 criteria for permissible coming soon advertising based on Nebraska's advertising law. The advertising broker must have an active listing agreement in place. The advertising must be done in the name in which the broker does business and under the broker's supervision. The advertising must be done with the property owner's or his or her authorized agent's knowledge and written consent. and the listing must in fact be coming soon and not currently being shown or marketed to a limited group. So don't risk lawsuits by dissatisfied clients or disciplinary action by your real estate commission or MLS due to your use of coming soon. Instead, follow these best practice tips to properly and effectively use coming soon listings. First, always confirm that your advertising is legal under state licensing laws and regulations. Check with your state's real estate commission for guidance on the issue. Second, consult your MLS about any rules or requirements for coming soon listings. Third, identify a compelling reason for why a coming soon listing is in your client's best interest. Explain the limitations and potential pitfalls of coming soon to your clients, and document their consent to use a coming soon listing in writing. Fourth, always have a signed representation agreement with your client. And finally, make sure that the coming soon restriction is applied equally to all potential buyers. These best practices will help protect you, your clients, and your fellow real estate professionals. If you have any questions, please feel free to email me. Thanks for watching this month's episode of Window to the Law.
Let me just put on my mic so that we can see. Everybody hopefully had a chance to see that video and hear everything that it had to say. This is NAR's guidance on the real estate commission, on the obligations that we have to our clients and for preventing the unfair use of coming soon properties to eliminate potential buyers who might be interested in looking at the property, and also to not share the listing with other brokers. Now, in the past few months, there is a notice that has been placed on the Garden State MLS. Now, for our company, Realty Executives, we have access to approximately 7 multiple listing services in New Jersey, New York, and Pennsylvania. And each one of those multiple listing services may have addressed the issue of coming soon in different ways. The COVID-19 situation has required that the MLSs, most MLSs, address the issue of homeowners not wanting to have people enter their home and take a look at the property temporarily. We still have a listing agreement which has to be honored for the length of the listing agreement. But what happens is if the property is not allowed to be shown for whatever reason it is, then it's not supposed to be in the active category. So I am going to actually share my screen with you and show you where we can find this guidance, specifically from the majority of our offices use the Garden State Multiple Listing Service to disseminate our listings. Some of us belong to more than one multiple listing service. So when you go onto the MLS, you will be able to see that the Garden State MLS, because of the COVID-19, they issued and created a new listing category. So active listings must be available for showings. If there is a restriction because the seller's on vacation for a week, the seller might have the flu and they're sick, they don't want any showings while they are at home recuperating from an injury or whatever it is, then we are required to put a temporarily off the market situation. However, I want to show you here where it says, oh, and if they're painting, they're redoing the floors, they are doing some kind of a repair and they don't want the property to be shown during that time, then we do have, and we have had, the delayed showings. But that has been used in the past in an unfair way, and people would have the no showings or delayed showing, but the listing agents were in some cases showing the property, which is a violation of the rules and regulations of the Real Estate Commission, the multiple listing service, as well as our code of ethics. So they have become aware of these things, and you would see sometimes it's no showings because of whatever, delayed showings, and then as soon as the day of the showings becomes active, the property goes under contract. So in an effort to avoid that, and especially now, they created a new category. So I'm going to go through first through the active status. So if a listing is in active status, there has to be an opportunity to be able to show the property, and any restrictions would be just for maybe, no showings in the afternoon or in the morning or whatever it is. But it has to be available there. It has to be easy for showing the property, okay? If the property, the homeowner at this time does not want people to actually enter the property, but we are able to show the property through either a virtual tour. The virtual tour has to be unbranded. So the way that our virtual tours are created in most ways to promote our listings have the branding of the company and the agent. But they allow an unbranded virtual tour to be used as a way of showing the property. So contacting or being in contact with Bertie at the office, and we are all working, sending an email. You can tell her that you want an unbranded virtual tour that can then be posted on the multiple listing service so that the agent and other people would be able to see it. There are also an opportunity for us to do virtual showing links that can be added to the media link. And basically what we do is we have it can be with pictures or with an actual video that you create when you enter the property, and you're actually creating a walking tour of the property that can be added. And if somebody is really interested, after looking at the virtual tours and the virtual showing or the video that was created, then they may request a viewing in person. But those would be for people who are really interested in making an offer on that property and still feel the need to enter the property and see it and feel it in person. In that case, of course, we have to get permission from the listing agent and the sellers, and then take the specific precautions to make sure the sellers and that nobody is home. That I have actually shown properties last week where I actually take the disinfecting wipes with me. I have my mask on, I have my gloves on, and I have the tub of disinfecting wipes, and I wipe everything before anybody comes in and at the end before I leave, so that I know if anything happens, it wasn't because of me or my showings. Now, the temporarily withdrawn situation is a full showings of an active listing, including showings by the listing office, are being stopped temporarily. Then we are required to put the listing status into T, which is temporarily withdrawn. That doesn't mean that you don't have the listing anymore. You still have the listing, and you can still promote it on your own. It's just that showings cannot happen, okay? So this update was made on March 26th by the Garden State MLS, and it is basically trying to help agents who cannot show properties because the seller doesn't want any personal showings in the property. Now, the CS, or coming soon status, is only available if you are just putting in a listing in the computer. So it's not for something that was already there. That is where the T, or the temporarily withdrawn status, would come into play. The coming soon status is you took a listing today, the owners say no showings until 2 weeks from now, when there will be, there may be different reasons. So the delayed showing of listing has been replaced with this coming soon status for the Garden State MLS. So you put the listing in the MLS right now, and it becomes active. You know, it is an actual listing, but it cannot be shown. So you can put on there, they're painting, they're changing the carpets, or because of the coronavirus, they don't want any showings at this moment. Then people will know. And then with those, you are able to put coming soon on the sign. That would be allowed because it's already posted, and anybody, any potential buyers as well as other real estate professionals would be able to see that the property, that we have a legitimate listing agreement, and that it cannot be shown at this time. Okay, now this is the specific guidance from the Garden State Multiple Listing Service. For those of us who use the New Jersey Multiple Listing Service, as you can see, and I'm showing you here on my actual listing, as if I was going to load in a listing, notice on the bottom, the status continues to be active, a RIP, which is attorney review in progress, under contract, and withdrawn temporarily. There is no coming soon for the New Jersey Multiple Listing Service. So if we have a listing that the territory between NJMLS and GSMLS overlap, we may end up having a problem. Okay, that's why we need to make sure that everybody is aware of what needs to happen. So with the Garden State MLS, you can put the listing as a coming soon, no showings. With the NJMLS, you can add it, but then you have to put it as temporarily withdrawn. And I actually checked with the MLS to make sure that I was providing the correct information, and that is what they told me, that for them, they are not recognizing coming soon. They're not creating a new category for coming soon. So we need to be aware, if the property needs to be in both MLSs, we need to follow the criteria. The most important thing is, as you saw in the video from NAR, is that we have to have a legitimate and real listing agreement with the seller so that we do not encounter any problems. Now, I am going to show you what is going on with the Hudson County MLS for those of us who actually have listings in the Hudson County MLS. If a property that is located or added to the Hudson County Multiple Listing Service cannot be shown, this is actually an email that I received because I'm a member of it. This is what they are recommending that agents do if the property cannot be shown. So the actual heading of the email said, are you tired of trying to show properties and you are told that it cannot be shown? So when I open that email, this is the guidance. So in this case, send an email to updates@mlsguide.com, supply your contact information, as well as the reason why the listing is not available to be shown, and the person that you spoke to. So when you're calling and you're trying to show a property and it's showing as active, okay, and if you notice on the instructions here, the definitions of the MLS for the Hudson County MLS, this is active, which is available to be shown, or an appointment can be made to show the listing and property owner or their agent is accepting offers. So if you are looking, and you don't have to be a member of the MLS, you know, all the time, but let's say you have a client who wants to see a property in Hudson County or in the area that overlaps with NJMLS, and the property shows up as active in the multiple listing service, and you call up and you say, I'm interested in showing the property, or you send a text or an email saying, I'd like to request a showing, and the agent replies, no showings. This is where specifically the Hudson County MLS is saying that can be reported. They will contact the listing company and the broker and either get you the appointment, get the listing agent to allow appointments, or they will put the property in temporarily off the market, and they will issue a fine to the listing agent who is not allowing for the appointments to be made. Okay, so again, Garden State MLS is allowing for coming soon listings. NJMLS and Hudson County MLS are not. So we need to be very aware of this and know what to do if a property, if you have a client who is interested in looking at a property, they look at you like you're lying for saying, well, they're seeing it on Zillow, they're seeing it on Trulia and Realtor.com, and they're seeing it all over the place, and you're telling them they cannot see it. They look at us as if we don't want to show them the property. So we need to know what to do in order to make sure the other agent or the listing agent is doing the right thing. But when we are the listing agent, we want to make sure that we are doing the right thing so we don't end up with either a fine, a complaint, or unhappy sellers or unhappy buyers who are trying to look at the listing from their end. So on the NJMLS, they do have, let me see over here. They do have, and you can go, if you're a member of the NJMLS, you can go to, I believe it is the, there's a place where you can get all of the documentation, and you can get no showings or a delayed showing for the listing. And then if that's the case, then you need to give the instructions. The late showing is supposed to be and has always been for getting the property ready. And it's not supposed to be for an extended period of time. It's supposed to be for just a short period of time while the seller is, you know, emptying the house, or the tenants are moving out, or they're painting, or they are removing the carpets. It's not supposed to be for the listing agent to take advantage of promoting the property and try to sell the property on their own without cooperating with other real estate professionals. Under New Jersey Real Estate Commission, I know that because I'm very involved at that level, at the state level, I was looking for agents who have actually gotten in trouble, and unfortunately, I was looking at all of the people who got in trouble last year, and I know that there were at least 2 people, because I was involved with, you know, a few of the things at the state level, but I'm not finding them here. So either the situation has not been resolved yet, or the actual it is required, like you have to actually open up the disciplinary actions and actually open the entire situation. So I was trying to find it, and it's like reading 15 pages of each one of these situations is not sometimes doable for me, because I may have other things. But a lot of times it is reading these and finding out what they did, what the agent did that caused the complaint to be issued. And then because now they're not doing the entire, they're not saying exactly what people did. We have to actually read the final order of the termination to find out what got them in trouble. So this is a list I do not ever want to see any of our agents in. And I read it every day. Actually, there's a few people I know here on these lists that actually have gotten in trouble. And this list is posted on the NJMLS website, which is New Jersey Department of Banking and Insurance, under enforcement activity, and all the actions are listed in the archive. So the name, the real estate company, and everything is included on there. I would hate to see any one of our agents named in any of these charges. So I really hope that this has given you a good idea as to what needs to be done. If you need to find the notices in the MLS, the Garden State has the newsletter on the right, and you can always go back and read the previous newsletters. The NJMLS has on the desktop has the calendar of training, and they also have anytime there are any new messages that we need to read are in the middle and in the front. And then of course the HUDSON MLS, we don't have that many agents that are members, but if you ever are involved, here, they just updated like miraculously, which is like right in front of me, incredible. So NJMLS just released a virtual option on enhancement to display links. Oh wait, it just disappeared on me. Where to go? To display links for virtual open houses and virtual realtor tours. And but again, it doesn't say anything about creating a new category for listings. So if we do have a listing and it can only be shown by virtual tour, then we need to be aware of that. Does anybody have any questions specifically that I can answer for you? So I have Kathy, coming soon is only for new listings. Yes, absolutely. You cannot go backwards to a listing that you already have and make it coming soon. It's only moving forward. You take a listing today, it cannot be shown, but it can be posted in the MLS and when it will be coming on the market. We have to, however, have a listing agreement. And when Mary and I look at the listing agreements, we look at the beginning date and the ending date. The people who have been getting in trouble with the coming soons is because they start promoting a listing where they actually do not have a signature on a listing agreement from the owner. Another option, with the coming soons, nobody can show the property. If you feel that you could sell it, or you have buyers, or we have throughout the office listing buyers that could potentially be interested in that property, an office exclusive is still a good idea, okay? With an office exclusive, it doesn't get promoted through the multiple listing service. There is no cooperation with other agents, and it could be temporary. It could be for 1 week, it could be for 2 weeks, it could be for a month. But we would be able to show it. And that is where people are getting in trouble, where they take a listing, they keep it, it's a pocket listing, which is a violation of a lot of different things. But if you know you have buyers, or you want to promote it throughout the company, if maybe the seller says, no, the property doesn't look good, I want to update something, clean this, clean that, but they don't have a problem with you showing it or allowing realty executives agents to show it, then take it as an office exclusive. And once the property is able to be shown to the world, and after the virtual or the professional pictures are taken, and you create all of the other tools that we have available, and it becomes available to be shown and promoted in the MLS, if it is still available, then you do the regular MLS listing. So now here's the thing. If you are going to use or take a listing as an office exclusive, it is imperative that all of the documentation still need to be completed. You need to get the office exclusive listing, which is found in Prime Agent. You are not going to find it on the zip forms. And the reason for that is the zip forms is typically for properties that are already on the MLS. On Prime Agent, we have the Realty Executives exclusive listing agreement, and you need to add to that the waiver of broker cooperation. Okay, you need both. And I actually have added the office exclusive listing form to my templates on zip forms. So if you're not finding it there, then you can actually add it, and then add also the waiver of broker cooperation, and have you could actually have the listing agreement for exclusive, let's say for a month. Okay, and then the MLS paperwork can be signed and dated for when the office exclusive terminates or ends. Okay, and you can explain to the seller, during the time that the property is listed exclusively with our office, only agents from Realty Executives would be able to show it. And it is not always in the best interest of the seller, like the lady in the video said. You have to really have a really good reason why that property would not be good for showing to the world or sharing with other companies. But if the seller gives you the opportunity of doing a temporary, either 2 weeks or 3 weeks or a month as an office exclusive, and you're able to promote it, show it, and sell it, that is legal. It may not always be fair, but it is not unethical, and it is not illegal. Okay, so the other agents may say, well, that's not fair. Well, we're not talking about fair. If you have a listing, you have the power. The key is that you have to speak to the seller and explain the benefits and drawbacks to having an office exclusive. And if the situation is, or the reason is that, they need a few days to clean up and get the property ready, you could already have somebody that might be interested in that property. Okay, so that would not cause a problem with either the MLS rules or regulations, as long as you have the proper paperwork filled out and signed and dated. The correct dates need to be in there. One of the problems that we see when we are reviewing the listing paperwork is that many of the files that we receive do not have dates. That is definitely a violation of the MLS rules and regulations and the Real Estate Commission rules and regulations. And all you need is one unhappy seller to complain to the real estate commission, and a whole investigation will be launched, which would not be good for anybody. I'm going to look through the comments here. When taking an exclusive listing, this is from Marty. You cannot advertise with a lawn sign, correct? You are allowed to use a sign in the front yard with the writer that says office exclusive. And we do have those available in the office in Fairfield. I don't know if the individual offices have them, but I know we have exclusive or office exclusive. We do have those in Fairfield. Tony is asking, if the seller only wants virtual tours, no showings, what is the proper status to use? That would be if you are taking a new listing right now, a new listing, okay? You can put it in active, and you can put the virtual tour or virtual showing in the link of the MLS. So I'm gonna go, actually, no, I'm not sharing my screen right now. But you can actually use that as a virtual tour. Now, here's the reality of things. Buyers may be interested in, okay, they're happy looking at pictures, and they're happy looking at you walking through the property and showing them, oh, this is the kitchen, and there's the ceiling fan, and here are the beautiful floors. And they may be content with that temporarily. But if somebody really wants to make an offer on that property and put their bag of money on the table, most people are going to want to see the house in person. But again, you can eliminate a lot of lookers or people who would know, I don't like the wallpaper in the living room, or the bedrooms are painted pink or purple. Those people that are going to be thrown off by that, they're going to move on. And you don't need to waste your time showing them or setting up an appointment. But if somebody looks at those pictures, they look at the virtual tour, the walkthrough, and they say, that is the house I want. I want to make an offer on it. You are going to find that even if they make an offer sight unseen, or like without visiting in person, they are going to at some point say, okay, I need to go in there. And you have to explain to the seller, we have to give access to the buyers. And you can write an offer, or somebody could get in an offer and say, you know, this offer is contingent on being able to take a look at the property in person. And you also have to tell the seller they have to provide access to the buyer and the home inspector and the appraiser. Some appraisers are doing drive-bys depending on the type of mortgage program that buyer is getting. But in many situations, they're going to have to at least allow the home inspector to enter the property. Okay, so but that when you have an offer in writing, that's a serious buyer who is not just looking at properties because they have nothing to do. Okay, so I hope that answers your question. If a seller wants only virtual tours, the proper status is active. Active. And the showing instructions are going to say, look at virtual tour links, or virtual showings available. And you can put in the comments, only serious buyers can enter the property. And then you can make it, you can contact that listing, that selling agent who's making the offer, and you can request copies of you know, the pre-approval, and find out more information about that particular situation. Okay. What about a listing that is active? The seller will not show it. The seller also needs to find a house, but will not look at houses right now either. Then that is where it needs to be withdrawn. If the property cannot be shown, it's not available. Okay, so it needs to be taken off the market, and you can do it temporarily off the market. And here's the thing: if you put it temporarily off the market, you still have a listing agreement until the expiration of the listing agreement. So if your listing is about to expire, at the end of April and you have it in temporarily withdrawn, at the end of April, when that listing agreement ends, that property is fair game for anybody that wants to come, come over and attack that seller trying to get the listing. So you need to, speak to the seller about what you need to happen. You can ask for an extension on the listing until the end of the year, and then put it in temporarily off the market. But your listing agreement is still until the end of the year. So these are different things that could be done if the seller doesn't want to show it and they don't feel comfortable going out and looking at properties right now. Okay, Tony is saying if the seller only wants virtual tours, no showing. Okay, I already answered that. So Kathy says yes, coming soon is only for new listings. If it is a listing you already have and it cannot be shown in person, then try to find a way to make the unbranded virtual tour or do a virtual showing video and post it on there, and that you can still leave the property as active. Mary says in GSMLS, can we change an active to coming soon? Absolutely not. That is like going backwards. It's not going to work that way. Coming soon is only for new listings that are being placed on the market. Some companies you're coming soon to be able to show themselves first. And yes, and that is why the MLS is cracking down on that. And if you are finding that is happening a lot with a specific agent or a specific company, those are the people that get in trouble. Because if somebody has the courage and feels obligated or feels like, you know what, we are in a unique business where we are supposed to be policing ourselves. If I see someone who is being unfair and unethical and doing things illegally, I have no problem referring them. I can send a letter to the real estate commission, sending or filing a complaint with the MLS or with the Board of Realtors. But that's me, because I have been so involved with the Code of Ethics and with the legal issues in the state that I don't think it's fair. If I'm doing things right, everybody should be doing things right. And those people that I showed you before that were found guilty of things is because people ratted them out. People said, you know what, this cannot continue. Can you explain unbranded? Unbranded shows only the property, and it doesn't show the logo of Realty Executives, and it also doesn't show your name and phone number. You're basically showing the property. The virtual tour showing the living room, the dining room, the kitchen, the exterior of the property. You're showing the property. You're not showing who it is that it has it listed. That makes it available for everybody to see. So if I am working with a buyer right now, I'm working with a buyer actually right now. If anybody has a listing up in Roxbury, Hopatcong, any of those areas with a 4-bedroom, 2-bathroom, we are looking at those virtual tours. So we have been seeing some of the properties that are listed. When I send that virtual tour to my client cannot see that the property was listed maybe by Remax or by Weichert or by Century 21. They're getting the information from me, so I don't lose that buyer by them, cutting through me and going directly to the listing agent. That is why the unbranded virtual tours are good to use, because we're not going to be sending to our clients our competitors' information. Okay, Maureen, I've seen a black screen with a circle showing a small piece of our logo. Is that what we should be seeing now? Oh, okay, I guess that was from the beginning. So if Kathy says a COVID home must be temporarily withdrawn. Yes, absolutely. And the reason, if anyone in the property has tested positive for COVID or is recuperating, then we have to abide by the quarantine requirements and not have access to that property. So if the property cannot be shown for 14 days, it needs to be taken as temporarily off the market. Okay, and then and that is to protect us, to protect our clients and the buyers that we're bringing in, and also to give that seller the opportunity to be able to recuperate. We also have, there are signs that can be put on the property. I actually, I'm sure you guys all received the email that New Jersey Realtors created an addendum that basically anybody that wants to go out to look at properties or meeting with me, like last week I showed my listing up in Hopakong, which is vacant. So I want to sell it as much as the seller does, but I sent to the buyer the form that says in the past 14 days, you have not tested positive for COVID, you have not traveled outside of the United States to any areas that have outbreaks of COVID, and you are not feeling sick. And that protects me in the event something happens. So it also lets those buyers know that I am very familiar with what is going on and the danger. When I show the property, like I said before, I have my disinfectant wipes. I wipe everything, the doorknobs, the keys. I open the door. So I actually arrived early. I wiped everything. I opened the lockbox. I cleaned the lockbox, the key and everything. I'm wearing gloves. I'm wearing my mask. And I opened all the doors so that the buyers do not have to touch anything. I opened the doors and the cabinets in the kitchen. I opened the closet doors. All the doors are open. They don't have to touch anything. And I allow them to go in, take a look, and I'm keeping my distance at least 6 feet away. So those are some of the precautions that we are required to take. When the buyers were, were done looking at the property, then I went back with a new set, and I closed everything, and then I put the key back in the lockbox. We talked in the backyard about the possibility of putting in an offer, and then we're working on the next steps. So we can still show houses. We just need to make sure, what we need to do. As far as taking listings, we just need to make sure we explain to the seller what is required, and explain the difference between having the property ready to be shown and active, and what happens when somebody is actually interested in showing it. This makes it more difficult if the property is occupied by the owner. If it's occupied by a tenant, it's almost certain that it's not going to be shown, that it's going to be impossible to be able to arrange showings with the tenant. And it also makes it difficult to take video tours, because the tenants usually don't want their stuff photographed or videotaped and sent out to strangers. So I would say if the property is occupied by a tenant, you'd rather just wait until this whole situation ends. If the property is occupied by the owner and you have explained what the requirements are, and they are willing to leave the house when there is a showing after people have looked at the pictures and the virtual tours and the virtual showing, then they can still sell their property. So if you have any other questions, I am available at any time. Just send me an email, give me a call, and I'd be happy to help you. If you are not finding the documents that I was mentioning before, just send me a quick email, and I will be happy to send it to you. Marty says, where do we find the COVID showing form? And I'm going to show you. I'm going to show you where that is. I'm going to show you. You go to NJ Realtor, NJ Realtor Forms. Okay, NJ Realtor /zip forms. This gives you the update of what has been done. Okay, and then you can simply go to zip forms. You can go to, this is logging me into the my administrative form, but you can view forms. And we have here the forms for Pennsylvania, New Jersey Association of Realtors. And we have here the addenda for coronavirus. We also have the addenda for seasonal leases. So let me show you what that looks like. So if you have a lease, this would be the one that would need to be, this is for seasonal leases. So this applies for those people who were renting a property for less than 6 months. And then let me go back to show you that other one, the coronavirus. This was created on March 20th. Why is it not giving it to me? Preview this form. So the form says, this addendum is attached to and made a part of the New Jersey Realtor Standard Contract. And it says that the buyer and the seller propose a closing date. And if there is a delay of the closing because of the what could happen with the coronavirus, they're agreeing up front that there could be a delay of up to 30 days if nothing is filled in. Okay, so this is the form that goes with the sale contract. The other form that I'm talking about is, let me see, it's the one for showings. Okay, it's called Hold Harmless Buyers and Sellers for COVID. And it basically, this is the one that we're supposed to download. And whenever we are going to be showing a property, we can use this. The seller is the owner of residential property, and then you put the property address. And then the seller has listed for sale with the broker and desires to continue to market for sale and have the broker show or allow the prospective buyer and its agents into the property. The buyer and or its agents have indicated a desire to visit the property for the purpose of viewing it to determine if the buyer wants to make an offer to purchase. And then it says on there that the buyer and the seller acknowledge the existence of the COVID-19 virus, the dangers of the virus and the potential exposure, and that this could be for the broker, the buyer, its agents, inspectors, immediate family coming into the property. So this basically has you know, it's giving the buyer and the seller a hold, harness, and release for, so they're understanding that there are dangers with this virus, but they still understand that they are interested in showing and allowing the showings of the property. So it asks for the seller and the buyer if they have had any, they've tested for positive, if they have shown signs, if in the 14 days they have you know, they have had any contact with someone who has the virus. So this form is for actually releasing. So if I'm taking a listing right now, I'm going to include this in my listing package. And also if I'm showing a property, I want this to make sure when I go into that property with my client, there's not going to be an issue. Okay. I hope that shows you where to find them. Is this form going to be active until the vaccine is found? I have no idea. It is available now and we can use it right now. So once they find the vaccine or this whole situation blows over and everything goes back to normal, that is already a form that is in our files that can be used. Not every form has to be used for everything. For example, you guys have a sewer, a septic and cesspool and well water. That's not necessary to be used if the property has, you know, public services. So even though the form will probably still be there, you don't have to use it if it's no longer necessary. So I really hope that this has been helpful. Again, if you have any questions, my full name at realtyexecutives.com and the phone number, I'm available. I'm working the same way I always did. So I'll be happy to help anybody locate anything if you need or clarification if you have any questions. I appreciate you being here for this time, and I hope this was helpful. Thank you so much, and have a wonderful day. Bridget, do you have anything?
Thank you, everybody. Have a safe weekend.
Have a great day and happy showings. Happy go get listings. We need some more. Bye.